My name is Kane. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. Topic of the day, are you safe in that training room with other gun shooters in that range? I tell you, man, it's really scary being in certain classes with people, but it's scary. But the thing about it is, I am so glad that a lot of them are there. I talked a little bit about a class that I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago in California, where a guy had a Beretta Storm, and he was doing this while he was. See what I just did? I looked toward the screen, and that's what happened. He did this, okay, and he was doing this on the line with a loaded gun, and I was this poor sap that had to be next to him, okay. Which jumps to my last training. There were 4 people in the class. It was a defensive, home defense handgun class, and I don't recommend. 2 of the 4 people had the Smith & Wesson Shield in there. I mean, it's a single stack. I don't recommend a single stack for home defense, but that's what they were shooting in there. And the one guy, you know, he is probably in his upper 60s, and he was having problems shooting, manipulating this handgun, where you have to think that who is going to be more dangerous to him, the bad guy or him with the gun. That's going to be a little bit arrogant for me to say, but I think in this case it was true. There was another guy I was talking to him. I really like him, actually. He was 70 years old, and he had an F&N. I'm not very familiar with F&Ns. I don't know. It was some kind of no, it was a 40 Smith & Wesson. And the guy can shoot it very well. But what made me nervous is that the instructor allowed him to cross holster his gun. So he was a right-handed person, and he'd reach around his body to the left side and pull it out, and then bring the gun and present it. Guess where I was on the range? Yes, I was all the way over to the left, and he was all the way over to the right. I saw him do it a couple of times, and I told the instructor that his range was not safe with him doing that. And he said I told him that if he wasn't going to change it, that I'd like to be moved to the other side of the range, and that's exactly what he did. This is a perfect example of why you have to, if the range master or your instructor is not going to keep you safe on the line because he's afraid of alienating or making people feel bad for their choices, because he wants more people to attend his class, you need to make the change. Perfect example is over here. He was doing some administrative hand moves with the gun. And in this class, if you didn't have a holster like a Kydex holster where you can put it in, you had to put it down on the ground, take your magazines back to the benches, and reload the magazines from here. What this gentleman did is that he didn't realize that he had one in the pipe. He came back over, he took out his handgun, and he swept everybody. I mean, let me put this in here. Let me also do this. He swept everybody with one in the chamber and no magazine, and he put it down on the table. That's extraordinarily dangerous. I will give credit to the instructor, is that he didn't see the action. I saw the action. I looked at him, and then he saw the gentleman handgun on the bench. He went over there and says, "Remember what we talked about, administrative actions? Don't handle your gun, keep it in the holster." And the guy said, "Yes." The instructor took his gun, a round fell out of it, okay? This particular range at Gander Mountain has bullet holes in the benches from people. You need to be aware of those dangers inside the gun range. Do not assume that everyone who goes to a gun range actually is competent in shooting them. All right? I am so glad that these guys are in the class. However, the most dangerous part of it is that they're in the class and I am next to them. All right? Be wary when you go into these gun ranges. Look at people and how they're shooting or how responsible they are shooting it. Okay? My name is Caden. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope this helped.